What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over a recent hotfix that went live yesterday in Fortnite Star Wars Galactic Battle that may change how you want to play. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below what you think of this change. And this change is going to be that both the Shockwave grenades and Shield Bubble Juniors actually just got a spawn rate increase. And they got this twice, actually. So yesterday, Fortnite put out a hotfix increasing both the spawn rate of the Shockwave grenades and the shield bubbles. And the reasoning for this, I feel like, is kind of surprising. Like, it seems random for a lot of people. But I think they did this because of the Star Destroyer update. Because with this week's Star Destroyer update, the sprites were removed, making it harder to get shockwaves. Because one of the main ways to get shockwaves was to turn the air sprites into the shrine, and then you would end up getting 4. But with sprites being removed because of the Star Destroyer update, you can no longer do that, and you had to rely strictly on RNG, like opening a lot of chests or finding a lot of loot to end up getting them. So Fortnite, I feel like increasing the spawn rate of these was to kind of make up for that, slight reduction in how many were on the map, but also because both of these items are probably going to be the main ways for you to potentially escape the Star Destroyer Bombardment. So a bit after this hotfix went live, like I said, they put out a second one, further increasing the spawn rate of both these items again. And so your chances of getting either of these should be much higher than it previously was. And as I said, I kind of think they did this as one of the main ways to avoid the Star Destroyer. I love shockwaves as a mobility item, but if somebody is shooting like just all the time, but if you're trying to take a mobility item to counter the Star Destroyer, like you're in its line of sight and getting shot, if you're trying to use the grapple glove, you're going to get shot probably, and then your thing's going to be on cooldown and you're just going to die. The lightsaber jump is solid, but, probably isn't going to move you enough to really escape it. The jetpack is probably really solid. The Rift to Go is probably really solid for escaping the Star Destroyer. And then shockwaves as well. If you're able to shockwave away, you're probably going to end up far enough away from where you previously were to hopefully avoid the blast of the Star Destroyer Bombardment, especially when you combine it with like a Jedi flip from the lightsaber. And then Shield Bubble Juniors are also another potential counter to the Star Destroyer, because if you're in a Shield Bubble, you're actually immune to the Star Destroyer. I don't know why this is the case, and the TIE Fighters and X-Wings, just like the splash damage would go through the Shield Bubble. But for the Star Destroyer Bombardment, Shield Bubble Juniors do protect you from it. So if you've been having a really hard time dealing with this item for whatever reason, just having Shield Bubbles in your inventory for the first 2 zones is going to make your life a lot easier. If you have a full stack of these, you have enough time to just last out the entire duration of the Star Destroyer Bombardment, and then you'll be good to go there, as long as you don't get eliminated by other players. But me personally, I don't really choose an item to counter the Star Destroyer. I think it's very easy to deal with, or very easy to escape, unless you just get incredibly unlucky. If you're getting like repetitively fought and you can't just move and then it kind of moves into your area, that's one thing. Or if you just happen to end up in the perfect spot as soon as it spawns to just get blasted by it, then sure. But for the most part, I think all you really need to do is get a car and drive away from the Star Destroyer. When the Star Destroyer spawns, it travels in a straight line, and it's very large on the map. You can just see it. So as long as you're not in front of it, you're going to be fine. So you just don't want to be in its future path, and you don't want to be in front of it. Being far on the sides of it or far behind it is going to work quite well, because the guns of it, I'm pretty sure, are on the front. So as long as you're not in front of it, you're not going to be able to get shot by it, and you're not going to be in its future path either to get shot by it in the future. If you're right behind it, maybe you get shot, but if you're like a decent distance behind it, then you're going to be fine. And I've noticed that the icon on the map is actually much smaller than the Star Destroyer itself actually physically is when you look at it. So I would go more so off that indicator on the map. If you're like, 100 meters behind that indicator on the map, I think you're probably going to be pretty safe, and you're not going to have to worry about it too much. One thing I would also do is, if I know that I'm going to be in path of it and probably not going to have enough time to escape, going to any sort of underground protected area, I think will also work quite well. So like the area underneath Masked Meadows, any of the vaults that previously existed, like the one at Lone Wolf Lair, the vault there should be protected. And then also like the mountain, the tunnels, and then like the tunnels at Flooded or Foxy Floodgate. when I was playing on stream, I had people telling me they got shot through this mountain. I don't really know why that would be the case. I haven't experienced that, but you know, Fortnite is a very buggy game, so maybe there's times where you can get shot through mountains. But also, it wouldn't surprise me if some people were kind of standing in a spot where they were susceptible to splash damage. Like maybe if you were standing near the door and someone shot it like just outside the door, then I could see you getting hit by splash damage that way. But as long as you're a decent ways away from any of the exits in these underground areas, I think you'll be protected from the Star Destroyer. And if I was trying to escape it and I was near any of those locations, I would just go in there and, as I said, not be anywhere near the exit so I wasn't susceptible to any sort of splash damage, and hopefully avoid it that way. So you have several avenues to avoid this item. I think the best is just going to be not being in its path, but if you are in its path, you know, things like Shockwave grenades, Rift to Goes, or Shield Bubble Juniors can really help. Also, recently, Fortnite did remove the Star Destroyer Bombardment from Ranked, which I think is a very good change. I have no idea why it was in there to begin with, or why the TIE Fighters and X-Wings are in Ranked, but, you know, them removing it is still a good thing. Either way, we don't have very much time left in this season, and the Star Destroyer only lasts 90 seconds. So I think it is pretty avoidable, but there will be some unfortunate circumstances where you just end up losing to it. Either way, I'm happy they increased the rate of shockwaves, and just playing today for a few matches, I think you can definitely notice the improved shockwave spawn rate. It's not like incredible, like you're just, you know, they're all over the place and you don't have to worry about it. You still kind of have to think about, you know, when you use them and if it's worth investing in a situation, but they definitely seemed easier to come by. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like some more, comment down below what you think of this change, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. I don't even want to say anything. Last time I said something should be an easy kill, it almost went bad, but this guy shouldn't be able to play the game. Okay, thank you. I was gonna say he shouldn't be able to play the game much longer. Like when you have someone just spam blocking with a lightsaber, it's really only a matter of time. And in solos, just buying time often isn't really that helpful. It can be, but like that player down there that was blocking needed me and the Sabrina to fight each other, but we just shot at them. I can see a world where in like team game modes, just being able to buy a little bit of time for your teammates to help could definitely be game changing, but if you're just getting sprayed while weak, spam blocking with the lightsabers, I think you're gonna be back in the lobby soon. Two opponents remain. One's over here. An AI. Final one might be too. This is very often the case. The new stage for this portal that just went live today. It's slightly more purple now than it previously was. What a W. I'm gonna run this bush over. There's lots of bushes to run over, actually. And here they are. Just like I thought. GG's though.